Hi everyone! Welcome to Red Fox Sewing and Crafting, and welcome to my craft room. I'm Joanna. So today we are going to be doing the pages in our Valentine's album, and we're going to start with page 1. I already put pattern paper on the base here. And we are going to need a 9 by 9 inch piece. So I'm going to be using my my envelope board here. If you don't have an envelope board, you can make a pocket for this page, probably like a 4.5 by 7.5, or like 6 and let's see here, 4.5 by 7, 4.5 by 6.5 inch pocket, probably. So I'm going to just fold or score all this, and then I will show you how to put this together. I have my piece scored. I have my envelope punch here. I'm going to punch my 4 corners. Oops. Gonna turn around and punch the intersections. And then we could just fold and burnish on all the score marks. I am going to just add glue to my 2 side tabs and then glue them on top of the center, one center piece. So that it becomes an envelope like this. And then I'm just going to leave the flap exposed, okay? Just going to leave the flap open. I'm going to use ribbon to close this. You can use a magnet or like a little tuck spot or whatever you want. I'm going to do ribbon, and I'm going to do it in the top of the envelope, top and bottom of the envelope. So actually I'm going to cut 30 inches. Of my ribbon here. And flip my envelope to the back. Laying it on my mat, and then I'm just going to attach it to the back. The center is close to the middle of my envelope as I can get it. I have my ribbon on, and I'm going to tie it closed. You want to make sure that your envelope is closed to make it easier to attach to the page. So I'm going to grab my album here. Again, we're working on page 1. So 4 3/4 by 6 7/8. You want to measure your envelope or your pocket and just kind of figure out how much on each side you need, or you could just guess. You do want the opening to be on the right of the page so that it opens this way. Okay, I'm going to attach this, and then we will be back to work on page 2. For page 2, you need a 6 by 12, a 7.5 by 12, a 1 by 4 3/4, and a 1 by 6 1/4. So the 12-inch pieces and the small 1-inch pieces, they're going to be scored the same exact way. So for the 12-inch pieces, I'm going to score at 12, or no, at 1, or for the 12-inch pieces, you are going to score at half. 6 and 11.5. Again, gonna get this right this time. Gonna score it 1/2 inch 6 and at 11.5. For the two 1-inch pieces, you want the 1 inch at the top. You're going to score at half. For the 1-inch pieces, you just want to fold and burnish, and then miter the corners. And then we're going to set those off to the side. The two 12-inch pieces, you want to, the two 12-inch pieces, you want to fold the two 1/2-inch pieces in. And then you want to measure on the right side of each piece, top right. You want to measure 1.5 inches down. So I have my mark right here. Okay, I'm going to do that to both pieces. Then grab your paper trimmer, and you want to line up the top point and the mark you made in the track, and cut. So point your mark on the track, and cut. And then just take your pencil and erase your marks. Now you want to fold on the center score marks. And then you want to fold them back in the smaller hinge back so that your piece looks like this. And you want to do it to both of your pieces. It'll end up looking like this. Now we're just going to miter all of our corners. And this tall one, you want to miter it just a little bit more than the angle it's at. So now we need all 4 of our pieces because we're going to add them into our album. You want page 2, and we're going to start with the big piece. You want the large hinge side. Add glue to your hinge, and we're going to add it to the bottom left of our page. Like this. Okay? Now you want to open it up. And grab your 6 3/4? No, 6 1/4 hinge. And you want to attach that to this side of your hinge, or of your page. You want to line up the center score mark to the center score mark. And if it's a little bit small, you can just kind of center it like this. I will change the sizing of my hinges, but it will, oh, and then you also want glue on the bottom too. Almost forgot. I'm going to add glue to the bottom of your page, like this, okay? Then stick it down like this and burnish it really good. So I skipped a step. There was originally 1/2 inch score mark on the bottom, on the long side, one of the long sides of each of the 12-inch pieces. If you want to do that and make flats on the bottom, you can, or you can add 1/2 inch to your hinges to make them a little longer. So now we're going to add this side. I'm going to add glue to the bottom. And then we're just going to fold it over and stick it down. Grab your 4 3/4, your 6 by 12, and we're going to take the longer piece and attach it again to the left side of our page, like so. Open it up, add your smaller hinge to this side, like so. And then we're going to add glue to the other side of our hinge and the bottom of our pocket. Stick it down like this. Burnish it really good. And then we're going to add the last flap and add glue to the bottom again. And just burnish it down really, really good, because it's going to be really thick. And now you have 4 angled pockets. 4 angled waterfall pockets. Page 3. You need a piece that is 5.5 by 9 and a piece that is 4.5 by 11. With the 5.5 by 9, you'll want the 9 inches at the top, and we are going to score at 1/2 inch. On our 4.5 by 11 piece, we want the 11 inches at the top, and we are going to score at 1 inch, 5.5, and 10. Your 5.5 by 9, you want to fold and burnish. It is. Fold and burnish your tab or your score mark, and then miter the corners. And I'm going to add some score tape to my tab. Really quick. And then with your 4.5 by 11, you want to fold and burnish on all your score marks. And then with the 2 1-inch pieces, you want to fold them in the opposite direction. So that looks like this. Grab your album, flip it to page 4. We are going to add our 5.5 by 9 to the top of our page. and you want to line up the score mark to the top of your page. You want to line it up as best as you can. Like that. And then we are going to add a magnet closure. So grab 2 magnets. And I'm going to use some score tape for this. I'm going to put my first magnet on the bottom of my base page. Stick it down with my score tape. Find which side my side magnet goes down. Add my score tape down, sticky side up. Then I can stick my second magnet on top of that. Close my flap, stick my magnet on, and then it will stick to my flap. You want to cover both the inside of the flap and the base page in pattern paper. I'm going to do that, and then I will be right back. Once you have pattern paper on, you'll want to grab your 4.5 by 11 piece and fold it so that it looks like this. Your 1-inch tabs here, you can either make them into pockets, and if you do that, you just glue on the 2 short sides and then on the side of the on the scored side. Not just put glue all over it. We're going to attach this so that the center fold is flush with the bottom of our base page. And it's going to be 1/2 inch on either side. I am just going to glue this down. I'm not going to make it a pocket today. So 1/2 inch from the edge and then lined up with the bottom. Like this. Okay. And then you can open it and just burnish this tab really good. And then we're going to add glue to this side. And then I'm going to close it, furnish it really good. And then when you open it, it'll look like this. Okay. That was page 3. Page 4, we are going to need pattern paper on our base page. And, oh, it's right there. And I have already done that. For the paper, or for the cardstock, you need 1 piece that is 5 by 5.5, and 1 piece that is 3.5 by 4. With your 5 by 5.5, you want the 5.5 at the top, and we're going to score at 1/2 inch. And then your 3.5 by 4, you want the 4 inches at the top, and again, we're going to score it at 1/2. Fold burnish on your score marks and miter the corners. Actually, don't miter them. I mitered one. It's okay. I will cover it up, but don't miter these because the tabs are going to be exposed. Sorry about that. So, just fold and burnish your score marks. Don't miter. We're going to go to our page 4. You want the 5.5 by 5. We're going to put that on the bottom with a 1/4 inch spacing on all sides. So, just like this, okay? It is stuck down really good. And then you'll want your 3.5 by 4 inch piece. And spacing for this one is going to be 1 inch on all 3 sides, top and sides. Just like this. And now I'm going to add another magnet to this. So I'm going to grab 2 more magnets, 2 pieces of score tape, and with things like these, I do it a little bit differently. Kind of put my finger where they meet up, and then I can kind of center it between the edge of the piece and my finger, like that, so that I know that wherever I put my second magnet, wherever it lines up, it won't be poking out in a bad spot. See, like that. That is page 4. Page 5. Oops. You need 2 pieces that are 3 1/4 by 8 1/2, and 2 pieces that are 3 1/4 by 3 1/4. So all we are going to do is take our 3 1/4 by 8 1/2 with the 3 1/4 at the top, and we're going to score at 1/2 inch on both pieces. That is it. Fold and burnish on your score marks and miter. we're going to take our two flaps and we're going to glue them on either side of our page. Right along the edge. And you have the side and the top and the bottom, like this. Okay? Then the second piece goes on the other side. Like so. We are going to add these to the front, but first we need to cover both of our flaps and the backs of our two mats. Now it's time to add these to our flaps. So we're going to start with the bottom, and we're going to put it on the right. You want to put it an inch from the edge and an inch up from the bottom. So I'm just going to line this up, figure out around where it goes, and then I can add my glue to the back. Line up my ruler again. And stick it down. Second piece is going to be 1 inch from the top and 1 inch from the side. So again, I'm just going to line this up like this. Figure around where it lines up at, and then I can stick this back on my flap. Just like so. Now if you wanted to, you could add ribbon to the center here, or you can add magnets to the outer flaps, the outer mats, and then the base page if you wanted to. But over time it should eventually like close up more. Last page, page 6. You need two pieces that are 4.5 by 8.5, two pieces that are 4 1/8 by 4.5, and one piece that is 2.5 by 3.5. On our 4.5 by 8.5, you want the 4.5 at the top, and we're going to score it 1/2 inch. On your 4 1/8 by 4 1/2, you want the 4 1/2 at the top again. And we are going to score at 1/2 inch. And then with your 2 1/2 by 3 1/2, you want the 3 1/2 at the top. And we're going to score at 1/2 inch. And just as we've been doing with all of our other pieces, you want to fold, burnish, and miter. Once I am done with that, I will be back to show you how to put the last page together. We're going to start with our 4 1/2 by 8 1/2 pieces, and they're going to go on either side of the page on the edges. So one will go here, and then the other one will go right here. Oops. Like so. Okay. Look like this. Now take your two 4 1/8 by 4 1/2, and we're going to attach them to this flap. You want to attach it to the outside flap, and you want a little bit of spacing, like a 1/16 to an eighth of an inch, I believe, or an 1/8 of an inch spacing. So, ooh. You want 1/8 inch spacing. On either side. And you're gonna have about 1/4 of an inch on the inside, but this is so that I made this way so that these two flaps don't cross over each other and have issues closing. So it is, I have like a 1/16 of an inch in the center. So it'll look like this, okay? Then we're going to take our 2 1/2 by 3 1/2 inch piece, we're going to glue to it, and this is going to go on the opposite flap, and it's going to go 3 inches. Going to go to the center 3 inches on top and bottom for spacing, just like this. Okay. Now I'm going to add a magnet. first magnet is going to go on our flap here. Right about there. Second magnet is going to go on our base page. So you could just attach it to the larger flap and then stick it down and it'll stick. So then goes left, right, and then it'll close like that. Okay? And there is your album. And close it up. Tie it up all nice and pretty. You want to add ribbon to the outside. And there you go. I hope you'll like this video. If you do, hit the like button down below. If you want to see more, like the other Valentine's album that I am making this week, hit subscribe, and I will see you next time. Bye!